We've spent 7 nights on board Seven Seas Grandeur. That's 168 ridiculously luxurious hours, and I'll tell you now, it wasn't enough. Her creators, Regent Seven Seas, have modestly labelled her the world's most luxurious ship, a claim we intend to investigate with the sceptical efficiency of an enthusiastic tax inspector. Does the Grandeur actually live up to its rather shouty name? Well, we're here to find out. We'll guide you through its opulent interiors, including getting up close and personal with an egg. We'll chew our way through the dining options, which, and this is a crucial detail, are all included. This is a challenge we took very, very seriously. We ate things we couldn't pronounce, purely because we could. We shall also drag you along on a couple of shore excursions, rather coincidentally alcohol-themed, sorry about that. These 2 are all included. Then to the accommodation. We delve inside the basic entry-level suite, before giving you a taste of an upgrade with one of the just as fancy but much bigger ones. We'll dissect the entertainment, something we found to be pretty good on sister ship Splendor, and we'll poke a judicious stick at all the little extras designed to make the whole experience feel less like a holiday and more like you've accidentally inherited Downton Abbey. Finally, we answer the big, expensive question. Could this actually be the most luxurious cruise experience in the world? Or is it just very nice flooring, expensive artwork, and an awful lot of champagne? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go! Hello, and welcome to a world where the words all-inclusive are taken so seriously, you might forget vulgar, inconvenient things like money still exists. A ship where the chandeliers have more crystal than a geologist's Instafeed. A ship with more marble than a renovated White House bathroom. And a ship where the staff are so attentive, you'll start to wonder if they can read your mind. They probably can. And just for full disclosure, we were invited on board by Regent Seven Seas, but as always, we maintain full editorial freedom to give our honest opinion, and Regent have had no prior preview of this video. Today we're going to peel back the layers of this particularly luxurious onion, so grab a complimentary glass of something bubbly, and let's get started. Now, Regent Seven Seas Cruises didn't just appear in a puff of expensive cigar smoke. Its family tree is a bit of a fascinating tangle. Think of it as a result of a rather successful blind date in 1992 between 2 one-ship cruise lines, Radisson Cruises, which had possibly the weirdest-looking cruise ship that looked like a Bond villain's catamaran, and Seven Sea Cruises, which had a much more normal vessel charmingly named Song of Flower, both brands owned by the Radisson Hotel Group. In 2014, they were snapped up by Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, but NCL sensibly didn't mess with the formula. They've always aimed for the top end of the market, a bit where you don't just get a towel animal on your bed, get a towel Fabergé egg. Well, probably. Which, funnily enough, brings us to this magnificent vessel, the Seven Seas Grandeur. The boarding process in Liverpool was classic Regent, a full-scale endurance test featuring irritable crowds, lengthy queues, and the sort of mild despair usually reserved for motorway service stations on a bank holiday. As you'll see from our warts and all footage, we were emotionally bruised, physically wilted, and spiritually one trauma short of a breakdown. And then, mere minutes later, we were miraculously gliding up the gangway to a welcome glass of champagne to help relieve the horrors of embarkation. In all seriousness, we've never boarded a ship so fast or so seamlessly. So then, who, and indeed what, is Seven Seas Grandeur? The newest of the fleet, she first graced the oceans in late 2023. She's a hefty 55,500 gross tons. It's about the weight of 11,000 elephants, if you value those sorts of comparisons. She entertains a modest 744 guests. Also, there's a whopping 548 crew. That's a crew-to-guest ratio of roughly 1 to 1.36. Almost industry-leading. Every single one of the 372 suites has a balcony because depriving guests of vitamin D is not the Regent way. And she's 224 metres long, or about the length of 2.5 football pitches, if you value that kind of comparison. But statistics only ever tell half the story. The other, far more interesting half lies in the delicious details. Take this for example. Seven Seas Grandeur isn't just a ship, she's a floating art gallery, boasting a multi-million-dollar collection. There are apparently over 1,600 pieces on board, which must have made for an easy decision-making process for the interior designers. They just bought everything. You can even take yourself on a self-guided art walk via the Regent app, which points out the highlights. Just the highlights, mind you, because if you try to admire all 1,600, you'll miss crucial shipboard duties such as eating, drinking, and coming disappointingly third on quiz night. Not that I'm dwelling on it, of course. At the centre of it all is the pièce de résistance, a one-of-a-kind Fabergé egg. More on that in a few minutes. Its opulence turned up to 11. Regent Seven Seas clearly looked at the rest of the ultra-luxury world and thought, lovely, now let's do it grandeur. Or grandeur. See what I did there? Okay, we've got the stats out of the way. Let's have a proper, unhurried potter about the public area, shall we? Deck 4 is your ground floor of glamour. We enter into the lower atrium, where the jaw-dropping staircase rises up, all hardwood and glass from the intricate marble floors, so polished you can make a Hubble telescope out of them. Down here is the main entrance to Compass Rose, the grand dining room. Look up, and the chandelier is an interwoven forest of light. Look down, the plates are bespoke Versace. Sets a rather high bar, don't you think? It's just so unusual in here. Beautiful. Calling this place the main dining room is like calling Buckingham Palace a house. The menu is vast, but the real genius is the design your own entree section. You pick your protein, be it steak, lobster or chicken, pick your sauce, pick your sides. It's culinary anarchy and it's brilliant. Want a lobster tail with a side of steak and a dollop of pasta? Oh, go on then, you hedonist. You'll also find here the casino, a small hushed and smelling of leather and hope, and perfect pretending you're James Bond for an hour before dinner. Opposite the casino is the Grandeur Lounge. There's no finer prelude to dinner than a visit to the ship's namesake lounge, where elegant design, signature cocktails and smooth, soulful tunes combine to lull you into that most delicious of moods, relaxed anticipation for dinner. The boutiques offer emergency sunglasses and designer handbags for life's little necessities, and perhaps cocktail-fueled spontaneity. Oh dear, this is not going to end well. Finally, the lower level of the magnificent Constellation Theatre, looking for all the world like a proper West End venue. Deck 5 is the social hub and heart of the ship. The atrium soars up through here, and the good people of the guest services desk are here to solve your problems with a serene smile and quite calming confidence. There's a multitude of other helpful people here too, cruise sales, destination services, etc. It's also home to the famous and much talked about Fabergé egg. It's a true first of its kind, a Fabergé egg made for a maritime setting and bears the name Journey in Jewels. It was crafted in England, not Russia, under Fabergé's auspices, using 18-karat white gold for the outer shell and incorporates ombre lacquer, apparently a first for Fabergé, and a bespoke mechanism by Fabergé's workmaster. This design language is marine, ombre enamel in blues representing the sea, 7 waves or blade elements representing the 7 seas that Regent's ships sail. And of course their name. The base incorporates gems, emeralds, blue sapphires and white diamonds to evoke the colours of ocean, light and water. Wow! Now I know what you're thinking. To quote a contestant on BBC's Bargain Hunt, how much do you think it's worth? Answer, well, it's priceless, of course. Further along from the egg, there's the Meridian Lounge, a classic clubby space for a pre-dinner cocktail or a speciality G&T, usually with a pianist tinkling away or a jazz band smooching some numbers. And then opposite, there's my personal favourite, Coffee Connection. It sounds functional, but it's a glorious light-filled cafe serving impeccable pastries, sandwiches and caffeinated beverages all day. Be warned though, there's a puzzle table here, and like Helen, you'll find it impossible to resist and you'll be stuck here for hours. One of the real stars is also on Deck 5, the Serene Spa and Wellness Centre. This is one of the few places you can spend extra money on treatments that involve being wrapped in seaweed or gently pummeled by hot stones. However, the thermal suite with its sauna, steam room and cold room is free to use. At the very back is the spa's secret weapon, a gorgeous outdoor space with infinity pool overlooking the ship's wake. That's possibly the most tranquil spot on the entire ship, but to be honest, they're all tranquil. Lastly, towards the aft is Pacific Rim, our personal favourite of all the specialty dining venues on board. This venue is an aesthetic and culinary triumph, a journey through the best of Asian cuisine. The decor is stunning, and the restaurant is situated behind a magnificent bronze and glass bonsai cherry tree. Not only that, the food is outstanding. Black miso cod is a showstopper. Overall, its pan-Asian menu is an absolute delight, and you can see it in detail, along with all the others, in our complete dining guide, which we'll leave a link at the end. Deck 6 is mostly suites, but at the rear houses the fitness centre, which stretches the full width of the ship and is packed with enough high-tech gear to even tempt an Olympian into booking a couple of weeks on board. Decks 7 through 9 are all suites, and we'll show you some of those in a few minutes. Deck 10 is the culinary heartland. Tucked away up here, occupying most of the rear third of the ship, are two specialty restaurants, Chartreuse and Prime 7. It's like having a top Paris bistro and a classic New York steakhouse next door to each other, which is exactly what it is. Chartreuse is unashamedly French and utterly fabulous. Expect classic dishes with a modern twist, served in a room that surrounds you with Parisian chic. Want to see much more? Watch our dining guide after this video. Prime 7 is a carnivore's paradise. The 28-day aged steaks are the main event, but the supporting cast, from the clam chowder to the skyscraper-sized chocolate cake, are equally brilliant. The pool area is the star here on Deck 11, a vision in teak and turquoise with an unsurprisingly relaxed atmosphere. There are 2 hot tubs and more plush lounges than you can shake a freshly provided fluffy towel at. Speaking of towels, all lounges have a custom-fitted towel already wrapped around them. Oh, they're just so comfortable. All drinks here are served by the pool bar. There's a huge feature pool grill flanking the aft end of the pool. Don't be fooled by the casual name. This is no greasy spoon. Think gourmet burgers, fresh seafood, and milkshakes that will make you weep with nostalgic joy, all served poolside. At the very front of the ship is the observation lounge, a glorious, light-filled space with 180-degree views. It's quiet and contemplative by day and transforms into a lively cocktail spot with live music by night. Tucked away behind it is the library, a wood-panelled sanctuary where the loudest noise is the turning of a page. It's a truly civilized escape for when you need a break from all the, luxurious fun, I suppose. And for the gourmands, next door to that is the Culinary Arts Kitchen. This is a proper hands-on cooking school with 18 individual workstations. This does cost extra, but it's one of the most popular activities on board. Finally, for those with a taste for the finer things, the Connoisseur Club awaits, a haven of leather armchairs and fine cigars, and a few drams of whiskey thrown in, I should think. At the very aft of Deck 11 is La Veranda and Sette Mare, a single restaurant with dual personalities. By day, a glorious buffet that serves breakfast and lunch in an environment that would leave other ships' fine dining restaurants a little red in the face. And by night, it transforms into Sette Mare, an authentic candlelit Italian eatery. This area is crowned with a beautiful terrace at the back for those sunny days of alfresco dining. Finally, Deck 12 is the sports deck, for those who feel the urge to putt a golf ball into a small hole, play a spot of paddle tennis, or engage in a surprisingly competitive game of shuffleboard. All with a commanding sea view, of course. Well, we had to go on the golf driving range, and as you can imagine, we weren't very good. So, as you've seen, it's a small ship, but when considering the number of guests, it's actually a huge ship. And with such a large ship, with so few passengers, well, what does one do all day? If you're enjoying this video and thinking, I'd quite like to do that too, then you're in excellent company. When it comes to booking a cruise with the Regent Seven Seas, we always recommend our trusted travel partner, Panache Cruises, the expert in all things ocean, river, yacht and expedition. They have so many awards they'd probably use them as doorstops, and the Panache team have decades of experience and a genuine knack for matching you with the perfect voyage. You'll be assigned your own personal cruise connoisseur, which is a bit like having your own travel butler, who'll take care of every detail, big or small, to help you bring your dream sailing to life, just like the butlers on Grandeur. When you call them, please do mention that Visit With Us sent to you. Think of it as a secret password. It costs you absolutely nothing, not a brass farthing, and it sends a little ripple of support our way that helps us keep the lights on and the cameras rolling. In return for this simple act, we often have a few exclusive treats up our sleeve just for you, as a thank you for being part of the family. Now, let's get back to the ship. A fair question, because yes, there's only so much lounging elegantly one can do before the urge to do something kicks in. Fear not, the daily programme's got you covered, delivered to your suite each evening, and is packed with enough options to make even the most determined relaxer feel busy. There are guest lectures, historians, diplomats, authors, who give genuinely fascinating talks about the regions you're gliding past. You'll leave feeling cleverer than when you boarded, which is saying something, considering how many cocktails you've probably had by then. Trivia quizzes are another daily highlight. They are fierce. Teams with mascots, teams with hats, even spreadsheets. We came third and took it personally. You can join the aforementioned art tour and get up close and personal with some real masters, not prints from IKEA. Or watch live Formula One in the theatre, complete with themed snacks and drinks, since Regent now sponsors the Aston Martin team. It's a delightfully niche way to feel cultured and sporty at the same time. Afternoon tea in the Meridian Lounge is a must. Silver teapots, scones, cucumber sandwiches, and cakes we definitely didn't share equally. A string duo or similar provides a soundtrack so civilised, you almost forget the calorie carnage. And in a surprising twist, clotted cream with the scones. Now, is it cream first or jam? Up on deck, you'll find the sports deck, a playground for grown-ups. There's a putting green that would make St Andrews blush. We had a round, and it was fun. And courts for pickleball or paddle tennis. We're still unclear on the difference, but does that really matter? Afterwards, sink into one of 5 hot tubs, one for every weekday, which feels like an excellent work-life balance, don't you think? The library, meanwhile, is pure peace. Think buttery leather chairs, shelves of glossy art tomes, and panoramic sea views. It's the sort of place where you accidentally read for 3 hours while pretending to be intellectual, or you might catch a quick kip behind one of those huge books. Then, of course, there are the shore excursions, all included naturally. You can go full explorer mode with walking tours or opt for the sit and gawk approach from the comfort of an air-conditioned coach. On our week-long cruise from Liverpool to Southampton, the weather tried to sabotage us. We even had to miss a port, but the captain artfully danced around the storms. We still managed a couple of gems. A Dublin day spent wandering Trinity College, Grafton Street shopping, and a heroic amount of Guinness research at the Guinness tourist attraction. I wouldn't call the bit you walk through a brewery, more of an exhibition hall with a free pint at the end. But that doesn't matter. You get a free pint at the end. Then came the Jameson Distillery in Middleton, just outside of Cork on the Southern Island coast. Part history lesson, part whisky tasting, all joy. Let's just say the gift shop saw brisk business. And these are all included. So take your pick. By night, the ship transforms. Constellation Theatre hosts full-scale West End-style productions with dazzling costumes, soaring voices, and trousers so tight they should come with a health warning. Guest entertainers also pop up. We caught a comedian who proved that cruise humour can occasionally, be funny. If you prefer something less theatrical, the ship's lounges have you covered. Sip a cocktail in the Grandeur or Meridian Lounge with a pianist tinkling nearby, or a jazz duo, or head up to the Observation Lounge where live music and a digestive meet the perfect view of the open sea. It's all wonderful. In short, what does one do all day? Well, everything. Or gloriously nothing at all. Either way, you'll need a lie down afterwards. And lying down brings us neatly into the next section of this guide. Well, if you have time for it, where do you sleep? On Seven Seas Grandeur, the entry point is the Veranda suite. 28 square metres including the balcony. It's not enormous, but it is beautifully designed. You get a walk-in closet, a fully marbled bathroom, always a sign of a luxury ship, and of course that all-important veranda for your morning coffee, furnished with this beautifully designed wicker furniture. As you can see, it's elegant, comfortable, and frankly, a flat in London as nice as this will probably cost as much as living in here. At the end of the spectrum, I'm afraid we can't show you the Regent Suite because a guest was occupying it. How dare they? But we can show you Suite 1205, a Grandeur suite. Here things start to get serious. Move up to a penthouse suite or higher and you get more space, a separate seating area and, crucially, a butler. A butler! Somebody whose job it is to bring you canapés, make your dinner reservations, and generally make you feel like you've won the Euro Millions. We stayed in the Seven Seas Splendour's equivalent when we sailed on her a couple of years ago, so I'll leave a link at the end so you can see what it's like to experience this gorgeous space as a guest. Of course, no review would be complete without hearing from the people who've actually paid to be here. And the reviews for Grandeur are, well, as you might expect, overwhelmingly positive. We've trawled the internet and done a summary for you here. Firstly, the good. The service is universally praised. I found one review from a gentleman who mentioned his butler had noticed he liked a specific type of biscuit from the coffee shop and proceeded to leave a small plate of them in his suite every afternoon. Isn't that lovely? The ship itself is stunning, magnificent, and a work of art. And these are common refrains. The attention to detail in the decor and the sheer quality of the materials used do not go unnoticed. I mean, just look up and look at some of these ceilings here and all the surrounds around the pool, a real teak. I mean, just these little details are, well, I notice them, and I'm sure virtually everyone else does as well. The all-inclusive freedom. People adore not having to sign for anything or have to think about the cost of every drink or meal. It genuinely seems to lower the collective blood pressure of the entire ship. Now, perfection is a myth, so there's 2 or 3 not so good things. The Wi-Fi, the perennial grumble of the high seas. It's included, yes, but it can be leisurely. It's fine for sending an email, but don't expect to stream 4 box sets at once or run a multinational corp from the pool deck. Some guests have found the standard entry-level veranda suite a little on the narrow side. Perfectly lovely, but perhaps a tad snug if you're used to more space. It's a minor point, and we loved ours, but it does come up. Finally, shore excursions. While a huge plus that they're included, some guests have found the quality can be a bit hit or miss. Consensus seems to be that for more in-depth experiences, it's worth shelling out for the premium small group tours. And they offer loads of these as well. We should also mention the bath towels, which can only be described as ambitiously small. Regent rather misses the mark here, especially when compared to sister line Oceania, who appears to operate a more is more philosophy. Their standard bathroom has so many towels, we briefly wondered whether we'd wandered into the laundry. And they were bigger too, the kind you can actually wrap around yourself without resorting to yoga. So after all that, what's our final word on Regent Seven Seas Grandeur? It is without a doubt a phenomenal piece of engineering, interior design and hospitality. It's not a ship for everyone though. If you're looking for wild pool parties, water slides, buffet queues that go on forever, and a go-kart track, well, you'll be deeply disappointed. The pace is calmer and the vibe is one of mature, sophisticated indulgence. But if your idea of a holiday is to be utterly spoiled in stunning surroundings, to eat food that will make your taste buds sing, and to never ever have to queue for anything, then yes, it's absolutely worth it. It's a ship that's been designed with an almost obsessive attention to detail, a floating testament to the idea that true luxury is about more than just expensive things, it's about how those things make you feel. And on Grandeur, you feel very, very good indeed. You simply must watch the dining guide next because the food on board deserves its own video. Or if you prefer, we give you a mildly humorous little peek into what a day on board a Regent Seven Seas ship is like. Or you can do us a favour and watch them both, and we'll love you forever. Thank you.